All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of biscuit and barbecue, Lone Stars and Longhorns, this is All In Colts, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. The Bills outs the Colts in their last playoff appearance. Jonathan Taylor took it personally the next year in his 5-touchdown performance. What is in store for the latest chapter in this classic AFC East matchup? We will give you our keys to the game, matchups to watch, and predictions. So let's go. All In Colts.
Yes, sir. My name is Kevin. This is my son, Liam. We are the Unstable Blues, happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yep, the Colts look to get back to 500 this week. Right now they are 4-5. The Bills lead the overall series between them and the Colts at 38, 33, and 1. Most of that taking place in the old AFC East whenever it was five teams, right?
That's correct.
5 teams. So it's the current AFC East plus the Colts.
This is the reunited season, because I'm not going to sing anymore in case of copyright. But yep, this is the season where they all get back together.
Yeah, which geographically you'd think the Colts fit well in that, because we always talk about divisions and how they're not geographically correct.
Right. And like I mentioned the other day, this is the old uniform matchup.
Yep.
The blue. Yeah, I don't know what's the best way to show this here.
Probably just the way you had it before.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So you got the Bills with the red helmet, classic 90s, and then I've been asking for this, the blue face mask, the return of the blue face mask. The gray has no place. Please give us the blue face mask back. Let's tie everything together, please.
Yeah, I like it. They face a 7. The Colts face a 7-2 Bills team that has not always looked consistent, but bounced back with 4 straight wins after back-to-back losses to the Ravens and Houston. Back-to-back tough losses at that.
Yep. Yes, so that is correct.
They're on a little bit of a roll right now.
Yeah. They are ripe for the pickings, so to speak. Speaking of which, I wanted to show you this. We always keep track of kind of what's going on and what other people think about the Colts. And one of the things I know you and I both do in preparation is check this out.
Yep. Yeah.
This is the game preview from the NFL, and this is what you have right here. You have every single person picking the Bills.
I
don't know about you, but I love when this happens.
It happened. Well, it happened one time. We
Steelers?
won.
I think it was the Steelers.
Yeah, and we ended up winning that game. Well, the Colts ended up winning that game, so I was like, okay, yeah.
I know. This is what I'm saying. I love when this kind of thing happens, because what it means is there's opportunity.
Exactly.
Because when no one believes in an NFL team, every team in the National Football League has an opportunity based on that week. And so you got to take it. You got to take that opportunity. And so with all that said and all that set up, what are your keys to the game?
Run the ball and keep running the ball. I'm going to start right out the gate with it.
Really?
I've been hinting to this all week. It's time I talk about it.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor, I need you to have a game, man. Maybe the player to watch. We don't know just yet. Maybe. This defense is a good, talented defense. The Bills have a good defense, but there's not that many big players, if that makes sense. I think we can take advantage of that. Josh Downs is going to have a field day. Jonathan Taylor should have a field day. I want another big game from him, another maybe not 5 touchdowns. That's a lot. Maybe like 3. I think that's kind of fair to ask for him. He's been due to have a really big game. He's had a couple of good games. Not good. He's had a couple of great games. I think he's had maybe one bad game. Everything else has been good. We need an amazing game from him. I think that is the only way we can get this done. Find Josh Downs in those spots. Let him work. Feed Adonai the ball. Throw some deep balls to Pierce. Joe Flacco, you love the tight ends. Use the tight ends. What I'm saying here is spread the ball. Spread it. Keep their defense spread so that they don't know where we're going. I think all around our offense is a little bit better than their defense, individual-wise.
Okay.
I think our number one wide receiver is better than their number one corner. And so offensive line, win the trench battle. On defense, Zaire Franklin, keep feeding. Keep getting those tackles. You were so close to it last season. Get it this season. Grove, Buck, get in there. Do your things. And corners, keep playing good coverage. They have Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, or I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And Keon Coleman. They're all 3 good receivers. Me and Isaiah were talking about it. We're like, we don't necessarily know who the number 1 is, but we don't know who the number 3 is. So as of right now, you got to treat them all like the number 1. And you just go from there. I don't know if that means you keep someone on the mark, like you go personnel matchup based on like height to height or weight to weight or something like that. Or if you go, Jalen, you're this side, Womack, you're this side, Kenny, your slot. Let's go. You cover your guy. I don't know what that means necessarily. I'm starting to trust Gus Bradley a little bit more on that type of stuff. I don't really have much keys outside of that. Oh, right. Also, Shane, be creative.
Yes. Get back to last year's plan. A little bit more difficult with Joe Flacco, not as mobile, but all that motion, all that, window dressing still happens. I get you. All right. You good?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback on your receiver because I had the same thing. Who's number 1? We don't know with all of these, but also Amari Cooper was out last week. He may be out this week. I haven't checked the injury report. Do you want to do that real quick for me? But there's also, don't forget about Mac Hollins. Like Mac Hollins was a good, solid number 2 a couple years ago for the Raiders. So you can check the Bills practice report, practice injury report to see. That's what I would typically do.
Wednesday injury report. Wednesday's the latest.
They didn't have one for Thursday yet.
There's 3 limited, being Amari Cooper, Alim Care, a corner, or Kier Alim, corner.
Okay.
Reggie Gillum, fullback.
Okay.
Add.
So Amari Cooper,
Curtis Samuel, and you know who didn't practice at all was Keon Coleman.
Okay. So up in the air on some people, but once again, it's difficult to read some of that stuff. I trust the practice reports and injury reports and who practiced, who didn't practice along the way more than I do some of the other misinformation that might be out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's my yes, and adding on to yours. Put a lid on James Cook. Because once he gets rolling, he could get rolling. That's both in the run game and in the screen game. Mm-hmm. Pressure Josh Allen, like pressure him, like any and everywhere you can him, right? Off the edge, in his face. I don't care. Just make him feel the pressure, but be prepared for Josh Allen to flush run, right? I'm flushing and I'm running. But when that happens, Do not fall.
I knew
You
it.
know what I'm gonna say.
If you weren't going to say it, I was.
Do not fall for this junk.
He's
Don't
not
fall
throwing
for
it.
the
If he's
pump fake.
running it, he's not going to throw it.
Like, he will. What? There was a game earlier this year. He was 7 yards past the line of scrimmage, maybe
Yep.
even more than that. And he pump faked, and they fell for it, and he got a first down. He got like 2 or 3 extra yards, got a first down. Don't fall for the pump fake, okay? Don't fall for it. If you're going to fall for it, make sure you got 2 other guys around you that aren't going to go for it. Say, okay, in this case, if we're gang tackling, we're all running the ball, we're all going to Josh Allen, I'm going to go for the pump fake. Everybody else, go for him. Something like that, right? Have that communication ahead of time because he's going to do that, okay? And then one more Josh Allen thing. You have to play coverage past the whistle. I know they always say, right? Like you're taught this from an early age. Play to the whistle. Play past the whistle. Because Josh Allen will take you all the way to the very sideline. And you think he's going to run out of bounds. But he's going to find somebody.
Yep.
So play past the whistle. Just plan to coverage and coverage and coverage and coverage. Like I'm going to say it's worse than Patrick Mahomes type of thing, but it kind of is because of the more of the threat of his legs than you have with Patrick Mahomes to cover, right? You have to account for the tight ends. They have 2 really good ones, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. You have to be able to account for them, know where they are, because they'll block down the field, but they'll also turn and catch the ball, and they're really good. And Josh Allen loves the big targets there. Protect the ball, take the ball.
Like it.
They've gotten really lucky on some of the turnovers that they've had, deflected passes, different things like that. They've also gotten lucky on Josh Allen not turning the ball over like Josh Allen typically does. Even though he has put it in harm's way a lot. So let's capitalize. The Colts can capitalize on their performance against the Vikings and continue that trend of getting turnovers.
Yep.
This seems like prime real estate for Kenny Moore. It honestly seems like, to me, I was thinking in understanding their offense and the Colts defense, I was thinking that it was going to be Julian Blackmon. Julian Blackmon may come up with a pick here that really helps out the Colts. So, Von Miller is back, so you have to count for him. Yep. And then on the offensive side, attack underneath. The Bills run a really effective 2-high shell and keep everything in front. As you mentioned, they don't have a ton of big names. Von Miller is a name, but he's older, but he still can play, right? But he's coming back. He's working himself back in off injury. But they play really good team communicative defense, which you would expect from a defensive head coach. So when they keep everything in front, that means that short stuff's going to be available, right? Off-platform screen game is going to be huge, meaning not the planned screens, but the check downs. Joe Flacco, when it's wide open and nothing else is, check it down. Like I'm very confused because this is something that Shane Steichen has preached since he got here, that he did so well with Justin Herbert when he was a rookie. Of course, Justin Herbert had Austin Eckler, but check it down. The off-platform unplanned screen game. Draw plays also, meaning, run draw plays, meaning you take it back and it looks like Joe Flacco's going to pass it, but then all of a sudden he hands out, right? The opposite of the play action, right?
Yeah.
Looks like a pass handoff. That to me will really open up a lot of different options, because then because the struggle with Joe Flacco at quarterback over Anthony Richardson is they don't have to account for Joe Flacco getting and running out of the pocket. Those RPOs are not nearly as threatening with Joe Flacco as they are with Anthony Richardson. And so your conflict defender doesn't have as much of a conflict anymore, right? So catching them off guard with the looks like I'm going to pass and then hand it off can make some holes there and create some opportunities that opens up the rest of the things and some of the deeper throws, right?
Yeah.
You also have to take some shots to not have people load up the box, right? Whether that's AP, whether that's AD, whether that is Ashton Doolin, whatever that is. And then my last thing, play for all 60 minutes. There is no lead that is safe with this team. They can come back. We saw it just last week when Tyler Bass hit a 61-yard field goal, his career high, to win the game against the Dolphins at the buzzer. So you have to be prepared to play past the whistle for all 60 minutes. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
What are your matchups to watch?
Before I do this real quick,
Yes.
just a quick key to the game I forgot.
Okay.
Win the time of possession as well.
Oh, yes. I like that because the Colts have not done that, I don't think, at all this year.
Yeah.
In any
It's been
single
big
game.
plays for a touchdown, not methodical drives, which we almost had one to start out last game. But
Yep.
anyways, matchups to watch. I don't have many on our offensive side of the ball, rather than maybe just JT versus Von Miller. Kind of that. I guess JT is younger still. I don't know. The younger type of running back who hasn't learned, a ton, but is still a good running back versus the experienced linebacker of Von Miller. And then once we get to the defense side of the ball, whether it be – actually, I'm going to go this way. Grant Stewart versus James Cook. Not Zaire. Not
All
Egypt.
right.
Grant Stewart.
All right.
Like you kind of said about Josh Allen throwing on the sideline, I think that's kind of the safety's job at that point. So Nick Cross and Blackman versus the 1 yard away from the sideline Josh Allen pass. And then Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, whoever it is, versus Womack, Jones, and Kenny.
All right. Receivers versus secondary.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Anything else? Good?
Mm-mm.
All right.
One more. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm not going to name exact players, just kind of like just the thing that it is.
Okay.
Punt special teams versus punt special teams. Whether it be returner versus punter, or punter versus punter, who does better, returner versus returner, whatever it is.
Field position.
Field position, yeah.
Field position matters. Gotcha. Special teams playing a key role here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Special players on special teams. You know that, right?
Yep. Special teams, special players.
I knew that. Okay. I was setting you up there.
Tuesday.
But this is a Friday. Okay. Ready? Zaire Franklin versus Josh Allen. To me, this is the modern version. Now, hear me out. This is the modern today's version of Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis.
I figured you were going to say something like that.
Now, In no way. Now, this is way too early. Like, just as a Colts fan to a Colts audience, please don't hear me say that Josh Allen is the next Peyton Manning. That's not what I'm saying.
Or Zaire Franklin is the next Ray
Or
Lewis.
Zaire Franklin is the next, although we'd be more okay with that.
Mhm.
But this is the modern version in the modern NFL of Peyton Manning versus Ray Lewis. In today's NFL, Josh Allen does Peyton Manning things off script, gotcha kind of moments with, like, Peyton Manning used to catch it in 12 in a sub with a 12-man, on the field kind of thing, because he was always watching. And if you were going to sub, he was going to hike the ball and get free 5 yards. Josh Allen is going to undoubtedly pump fake you, pass the line of scrimmage, make you jump and get 2 or 3 extra yards. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's the correlation. Don't think of it as the exact same, but this is that chess match, that cat and mouse. I'm lined up here and your eyes are on me, and we are playing chess against each other right now on the field.
Because not to mention, Zaire Franklin is also the captain of the defense, and he
The top
relays
tackler.
the plays to the
Yep.
team from Gus,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the one who audibles out if he sees something.
Yes. This is quarterback on offense versus quarterback on defense. And, like, honestly, I could stop there, and that could be kind of like, that's epic within itself in
Mhm.
my book. But I won't. Grover Stewart versus James Cook. You already talked about the Colts secondary, so I won't touch on that. I don't know who, but the Colts coverage versus the Bills tight ends. Once again, I feel like the matchups are tough because these are two teams that rely very much on team, which is good, which leads to a really good game, I think. Really good, well-orchestrated football, but makes matchups difficult. It's not like you have huge, headline stars.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's eyes versus DeMar Hamlin. I think DeMar Hamlin is the free safety, so that would be that. The strong safety being Taylor Rapp, and so the Colts blocking scheme against him coming down on the runs. The Colts plan for Von Miller, whatever that plan may be, depending on where he lines up. If he's going to drop into coverage I hope he tries to cover Josh first downs, or whether he tries to cover, Colin Granson, Ogletree out of the tight end, or whether he's coming off the edge. What's that plan like for him? Von Miller's that kind of a flex player. He's an end, but he's also a linebacker, right? So got to have a plan for him. Coaching. Shane Steichen versus Sean McDermott, offensive coach versus a defensive coach. This is, something's got to give. Gus Bradley, I told you, I will say it until it is fired or it is fixed.
Yep.
If the defense continues what it did against the Vikings for 2 more weeks, I don't have to mention this anymore.
Okay.
But it has to continue like the Vikings, which was a tremendous performance, right? Yep. 13 fantasy points, as we discussed yesterday in our Fantasy Stable episode. You can go back and watch that. Gus Bradley versus Joe Brady. The offense has been different since Joe Brady took over mid-season last year, and obviously they're doing something right because they were able to get rid of. That sounds bad, but they offloaded Stephon Diggs. I'm not sure if that's wording is any better. They traded him away, and they're okay, right? They're it's pretty good team.
And they
if
got rid
you
of
don't
Gabe
know-
Davis as well.
Right. Yeah. You got rid of your number 1 and number 2 receivers. And the only problem is now we don't know who your number 1 is because they're all kind of right there, which is good. It means you're spreading the ball, which is something that you said that is beneficial. So those are my matchups to watch. Who is your all-in player to watch? You calling anybody out this time?
No, not this.
Probably good.
Actually, yeah, I'm going to call
Oh,
someone out. I'm going
Okay.
to call someone out, but they're not my player to watch.
Okay.
I'm calling out Joe Flacco again.
Okay.
He didn't perform.
You shouldn't call out quarterbacks, man. This is like wearing blue on game day for you.
It's fine. It'll be
Superstition,
okay.
man. Okay.
And the reason why I didn't call my player to watch out is because I think I really want him to do well.
Okay.
I don't think this is a surprise to anyone if you've watched this. I mentioned him already multiple times throughout the whole week. Probably my favorite player in the NFL as of right now, Jonathan Taylor. He's my player to watch. He played big in Buffalo. I don't see why he can't here. I feel like that defense was better than this defense has been. The Bills are getting wins, but they're scoring a lot of points, but so is the other team. So, doesn't mean you can't score.
My all-in player to watch is Joe Flacco.
Okay.
The question being, can he rebound? Can he come back from the performance like a veteran? Excuse me. And if the true goal here is for Anthony Richardson to learn from Joe Flacco, then Joe Flacco has to show Anthony Richardson what it is like for a professional football player to have a bad performance one week, have a memory like a goldfish, and go out and dominate the next week. Once again, as you mentioned, that doesn't mean that he has to throw for 300 yards as long as he can make the right calls at the right time and put it in the hands of the playmakers when necessary in space to make those plays.
Yep.
That's what it's about. It is. You do not have to play hero ball. He knows that. But you have to make the right reads. You have to make the right checks. You have to make the right decisions for the right coverage so that you can continue to stay ahead of the chains and move the ball down the field so you can have those long sustained drives.
Yep. Like
what's your prediction then? Who's going to win? What's the score going to be?
I think the Bills are going to win. I think Tyler Bass is going to make us is going to win it again, 26-23. So one possession game once again.
I think that this is a strangely winnable game for the Colts. I think that the Bills are primed for a loss. I think that combine that with the next week playing at the Jets, also kind of primed for a loss. I think this could be two surprising wins for the Colts. But my prediction is Bills 21-20. Close one.
Close, yeah.
But once again, this is my little stitiousness compared to your superstitiousness that I pick the other team, and it's a win-win, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Well, that is it. We also have our update from the South, where we will look around at the AFC South. We'll have our Unstable Pick 6 prediction show, Fantasy Stable look at Colts players' fantasy stats and projections, and our preview of the Colts' first of 2 trips to New York this season to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, no longer in primetime.
Yep, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin,
reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.